Hi, kindergartners. Welcome to our next writing lesson. So for today, we are going to do a little bit of review, and then we are going to learn something new for our how-to books. So the last time we had a lesson, we learned about adding an introduction to our how-to books and making sure we introduce our topics for our how-to book. And the last time, we wrote together our own introduction to our How to Make a Sun Butter and Jelly Sandwich book. And then we talked a little bit about how to write a conclusion to our book. And remember, we went to our last page of our book and we added the word goodbye. Or you can add the words, thank you for reading, and that lets your reader know that your story is all done. So when we're all done with our book, we want to make sure that our writing is easy to read. So that's what we're going to be learning about today. And in order for our writing to be easy to read, we need to make sure that we hear lots of sounds in a word. So that means when we have a sentence like this, we want to make sure that we hear lots of sounds in a word. When we say the word last, that has a lot of sounds in it. And the word yummy, yummy, that has a lot of sounds in the word too. And we also want to make sure that we leave spaces between our words. So make sure you leave spaces between the words in your sentence so that they are easy to read. And then we want to make sure that we have pictures that hold the words of the story. So make sure you have pictures on your paper that talk about what you're saying down here. And remember to make labels too, so we also know what your picture is showing us. And we also want to make sure that we use capitals at the start of our sentence. So see, my sentence starts with the word last, and my L is capitalized. So on every page of your how-to book, you should make sure that the first word is capitalized. And if you have more than one sentence, the word that comes after your period should be capital letter. And that's how we know that our writing is easy to read, because we flip it back and forth between writing and reading and writing and reading. That's how we know that we're also good at writing mentor how-to texts. So we want to know that before we are finished with our how-to book, we need to go back and make the writing easy to read. And that is by making sure our words have a lot of sounds, that we are leaving spaces between our words, that we have pictures that hold the words of the story, and that we are using capital letters at the start of our sentence. And we also want to make sure today that we can write a conclusion. We talked a little bit about that in our last lesson, but I want to make sure that we can add a conclusion page to our story. So when we take our story, How to Make a Sun Butter and Jelly Sandwich, we already make sure that we have everything in our story that makes it easy to read. And we also made an introduction page. Now we need to take another blank piece of paper, to put at the very end of our how-to book. And this is going to be our conclusion. So you need to put it at the very end. And the way that you can conclude your story is saying, now you know how to blank. So for this story, I would say, now you, don't forget your you, know how to make a sun butter and jelly sandwich. And now if I was writing a story about how to draw a smiley face, my conclusion page would say, now you know how to draw a smiley face. So here's my conclusion page. It says, now you know how to make a sun butter and jelly sandwich. And that's going to go at the very back of my how-to story, at the very end, the last page. And then your story, after you add a conclusion, will now have a cover page, your introduction page, and then the details and the steps inside your how-to book, and then a conclusion page at the very end. And I just want to go over again one more time before we start writing what we need to make sure our story has to make it easy to read for our reader. So we want to make sure that we hear a lot of sounds in our words. We want to make sure that we leave spaces between our words. And we want to make sure that our pictures hold the words of our story. And then last, we want to make sure that we are using capitals at the start of a sentence. So the first word on your page should have a capital, and then after a period, that next word should have a capital as the first letter. So today when we start writing, we want to make sure we have those things in our story, and we want to work on adding a conclusion page that says, now you know how to, and then you fill in what your book is about. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so that we can put up the how to write a mentor text chart and our timer. So now you can see my screen, and we are going to do our timer for 10 minutes. All right, there it goes. And now I'm going to give you 10 minutes to start writing. So start your writing now. All right, writers, time is up. So now, I hope you guys were able to work on writing a conclusion and working on some ways that you could make your writing easier to read. And if you aren't finished, that's okay. You can keep writing or save it for another day this week. And I'm so excited to be able to see your Flipgrid videos at the end of this week where you read one of your how-to books to see if you've added an introduction and a conclusion. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.